of Time Show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
KOT family, it's hella great to see you, man. What a wild 24 hours it's been. We wanted to come back and have an extension of our conversation from last night. Wanted to bring up some other voices that didn't have a chance to say their piece and express themselves, including B, and maybe we might have a surprise guest a little bit later on. But also I wanted to reapproach the subject now that more information has come out. There was a Steve Popper report. There's also the report that Jalen Brunson had a players-only meeting. And also just some general conversations I want to have about how do we get here, what should be happening to Mike Brown, also want to reflect on Tom Thibodeau, and also what moves would be made, if any, moving forward. And I also want to address, before I introduce my homies, want to address also being emotional as a fan about the team. I got most emotional I've been was last night. I got fired up. But I do want to say that it's definitely informed by many other things. I tend to save my emotions for shit that happens in the economy or to my family members or to myself. I tend not to get too emotional about sports anymore because, one, I had no control over them, and two, in the hierarchy of meaning, they're right near the bottom in terms of the bigger issues that are happening in the world. But I do care about these Knicks, and sometimes they act as a mirror and a conduit for my emotions and my rage and fear. But I try to learn from my brother Ryan G and how even-keeled he's able to be, and also Raw Hebrew, someone who's I don't pod at night after every game because I need to collect my thoughts, and I don't want to be overly emotional. I get that. So I want to have some time to settle down myself and have a more thoughtful, curated conversation, while also just being all of us can be honest and have a sounding board, and just let's see how everyone feels. And also definitely want to be highlighting the chat. I want a lot of chat feedback on this too. I'm going to be pulling up comments and having conversation about what the chat is saying. So I hope for a very lively discussion. And with that being said, let me introduce our panel. Of course, main man, the greatest co-host in these YouTube hits history streets, Ryan G, the man with the stats and the facts. How are you doing, brother? Great to have you.
Yeah, man. Everything is straight. After last night's conversation, I've had some time to think about it a bit more, and I can't wait to give my feelings about what's going on at the moment and what the Knicks should do, etc.
My man. Next up, we have the host of the NBA Economy Show, a.k.a. the Mod God, a.k.a. the Fifth Beatle, a.k.a. the greatest mod in these Knicks YouTube streets, and also a member of a KOT family, our local capologist, Fritz Alessander. How are you, brother?
Doing great. Glad to join the panel. Let's gonna see. Is the sky falling? Is the bottom falling out? Is what's going on with these Knicks?
Indeed, we will find all those things out. And then lastly, my sister in arms, former AAU coach, maybe an AAU coach in the near future, also recently appearances on both Ian Bedley's The Putback and Dexter Henry's New York Got Game, rising star, be the motivator. How you doing, sis?
I've been better. I didn't want to come on here yesterday emotional. As a female, I learned sometimes you got to let the emotions pass. So I'm ready. Still got some feelings, but I'm ready to discuss it today rather than yesterday.
No doubt. Yeah, I think we all need some time to cool down. And I actually find myself just as angry now as I was last night, but it's a different kind of anger. It's more like a seething rage opposed to wanting to go full white boy and punch a drywall. You know what I mean? So, all right.
Going Omari Stoudemire on us.
Sure. Definitely don't want to do anything Stoudemire-ish. All right, let's start here. I'm going to start with Ryan, too. Ryan, how did we get to this place in the Knicks season? How do we get to a place where we've lost 8 out of the last 10 games, I believe, to a place now that we're questioning the roster construction, we're questioning the coaching hire, and we're questioning the players on this team that made up what we thought was the most talented core of our fandom?
It's really baffling because this season so far has been a tale of two seasons pretty much. The first half of this half of the season, the second half of this half of the season. The first half of the season, we saw lively offense, ball movement, player movement, guys cutting to the basket. We've had 30-plus assist games. Offense was clicking on all cylinders. Yeah, at times I criticized the amount of threes being taken, but at the same time, if the team is making them, I don't have an issue with it. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of positives to point at. Then on top of that, I think at one point earlier in the season, the Knicks were at least near top 10 defensive ratings. So the team was playing good on all fronts in the first part of the half of the season. But then the second half, it's like after that NBA Cup game, I still don't know if they mentally checked out or if like they just need like a mental reset. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden things just started to tail off. And it's baffling because it's not like the Knicks made any changes. It's the same roster that was playing near top 10 defense in the first half of the season. And then all of a sudden they just started to tail off. Then on top of that, the coaching staff is unable to find answers. And not only are they tailing off on the defensive side of the ball, but also tailing off on the offensive side of the ball. So it's not even like they're maintaining their offensive production and the defense is slipping, or they're maintaining their defense and the offense is slipping. Like they're slipping on both sides of the ball. And it really makes you wonder what's going on. I mean, we're all watching these games. I think Fritz mentioned it last night. The guys seem a bit slow, like a step slow at the moment. Rotations haven't been sharp. They've been overhelping, leaving guys open. But I think those problems were even in Thibs' days. Like for whatever reason, our team loves to overhelp, and then what happens is when the team starts passing the ball around, a guy's going to be left open because you can't recover on time to your man. So it's baffling to me, but today I kind of had some time to think about it because of the new reports coming out and Jalen Brunson calling a all-player meeting after the game to talk to the guys. And I know some people in the Twitter world think that, you know, maybe the team hasn't given up on Mike Brown or whatever the case may be, but Jalen Brunson calling that players meeting and saying like we need to look at ourselves rather than blame it on the coaching staff, that leads me to believe that the players haven't checked out yet when it comes to the coaching staff. It leads me to believe that the players don't believe that the coaching staff is at fault. The players look like they believe that they're at fault and that they need to look at themselves in the mirror. They need to have better effort and play better. So I was fired up last night, and I was giving Mike Brown a 5-game window, and I'm still giving him that 5-game window because at the end of the day, you're the coach. You need to try to find solutions. You need to try to find ways to motivate your guys to play better and things of that nature. So I still put it on the coaching staff, but I do think that it's a positive that the players are not blaming the coach. The players are looking at themselves like we need to play better. We can't just put everything on the coaching staff. So that gives me some type of hope, and we just have to wait to see how they respond. But at the moment, my stance still stands from last night. I'm giving Mike Brown to the end of the month. See what you can do with these next 5 games, and depending on how the Knicks play, that'll determine for me whether we move forward with Mike Brown or we let him go.
I have also stayed the same. At the end of the month, I'll start making my decision on whether I'm going to start advocating for him to be fired. In every single format I have to advocate, and whatever guest appearance I'm on this podcast, on Twitter, in my writing, or if I have his back, because it's do or die time. And I will mention, I'll give my reason of why I think this we got to this point. Before I hand over the Fritz, I want to say B for last, so she hasn't had. I really, really want to hear what B has to say, so I'm saving that for the last one. But I think we got here because of the article I wrote recently about the epidemic of the Knicks being soft. And we have 3 Achilles heels on our team. Have nothing to do with Leon Rose, Mike Brown, or James Dolan. Brunson, I believe, is an element of selfishness in there that comes from him having a imposter syndrome. He tries to overcompensate for all the times he's been knocked in his career, and he tries to do too much, and that gives him tunnel vision. Selfish, you might want to argue semantics and say it's not selfishness. It's, he's not a true point guard. It's not selfishness. He's just the best player on the team. However you want to word it, okay. But there's something that causes him not to trust his teammates and to go it alone far too often. Karl-Anthony Towns is soft mentally. He gets emotionally entangled with the referees, other players, the lack of touches, the bad continuity with him and Brunson, the coach's schemes, the defensive tactics. It hits in his head, and he checks out. And then Mikal Bridges is straight up weak. He's weak. He might be the second most talented player on this team, two-way wise. think KAT's more talented offensively. But on both sides of the ball, Bridges is extremely talented. I don't even know what his ceiling is if he was totally checked in, but his lack of contact, only one free throw a game, again, it's unacceptable. And it's endemic of how his team has not lived up to expectations across the board, 1 through 15. That includes the coaching staff as well. Fritz, you've had some time to think about it since our blow up last night, a collective blow up on what's been going on. You're a very analytical, intellectual person. I've been interested to hear, have your thoughts evolved? Have they stayed the same since the post game after last night's Maverick loss?
Yeah, I there's still greatness left in this team. Like, this isn't a team that you have to question, can they be good? Because they have been good, the same group. It is basically, can we get back to where we were and build on to it? If we look back to when this streak started, it was that Champagne game where he just went nuclear on us. It was pretty much a couple bad games, and the Knicks couldn't stop the bleeding. And if you looked at the overarching, what we were doing at the time, is that's when Mike Brown was really experimenting with the team. And like, regular rotations were out the window. Players were getting extra rest. He was playing a lot of the bench. And all of a sudden, we kind of lost our identity somewhere in there. So usually when you lose like an identity or you get lost in life, you kind of have to slow down and start over from scratch. And I think that's kind of what the Knicks need to do. They need to start with basic defense, 101. Like, stop assuming everybody's going to do what they need to do, and they need to hold each other accountable and start from scratch, like it's training camp again. It's just not going to snap back together. I think they just kind of lost it. I think they can get back, and they can actually get better than they were before.
Fritz, that's one of your strongest takes. I also want to give you a compliment. One of the things I really like about you, and I think you're really strong at, you give your take in as few words as possible, but you make every word count. Not everybody can do that. It's something I struggle with. I talk too damn much myself in every appearance that I'm in, and even sometimes I overwrite. So I just want to give you a compliment. We're not on the podcast as much as everybody else, but I want to give you some flowers on something I think you do really well. All right, B, here it is. I wanted you on this podcast especially because, one, you haven't had a chance to express yourself. Two, I think you're one of the more optimistic members of a team, and we're kind of in the doldrums. We're at the bottom of the barrel emotionally right now, and I wanted to hear what your thoughts were on how we got here.
I want to do a pinpoint that I'm with you and Ryan as far as the mentality and things of that nature. I'm actually with all three of your points, but I want to actually shift over to a different point. I think the biggest issue outside of the things that you guys stated also is expectations. I feel when we reached a certain point, we kind of exceeded them to the point where NBA Cup versus a Spurs team that everybody had as possibly losing. People had Mike Brown coming in and probably not playing so well at some point, and we were going on a winning streak. We were playing well. We were one of the hottest teams at some point. And then when we reach those expectations, just like anybody in life, you start to be like, now what? And I think that's where the Knicks are now. We're now figuring out we did everything that everybody said we couldn't do, so I don't see what the big deal is. And then you start going back to your bad habits because that's what you're so used to. We're not used to being a winning organization, especially consistency. We're not used to being on a big stage where we're putting up banners and we're raising up trophies and stuff like that. We're literally one of the laughing stocks of the thing. So for us to have that opportunity and for them to feel that and not want more is because I feel like we've never been in that place before. And because we have such expectations to be better, I don't think they know how to handle that because of things like yes mentality and the things of the coaching right now and the things of the players in itself. So I think when you put a combination of everything that we stated together with the expectations, and I feel when sometimes me, even myself, when I don't exceed them or do it as I wanted to do, I tend to go down on myself. I tend to be like, you know what? I should have never done this anyway. Or I could have did this or that. And I think that's what the Knicks are doing. They're feeling bad for themselves because they're like, well, we were good. Why are we good now? So let's just go back to doing the things that we used to do then, and the things that we used to do was never a winning organization, which is why right now we're so disappointed, because we made all these changes to become that, and there was a point where we were. So I think with everything that we stated, that's my biggest thing right now. I think that we exceeded expectations, and this team now doesn't know, and we have to get back to kind of what Fritz says. We have to get back to what the goal was. The goal wasn't a cup. I could care less about it. It was nice to get to that point and get it, but the goal was to get back to the Eastern Conference Finals and then the NBA Finals. Then yes, win it. That was also the thing, but we forgot what the goal was again. So I think the team has to now forget that. F the expectations. Don't worry about even the playoffs right now. Get back into winning and winning consistently. And then we could worry about all the other things. But I think this team had so much on their back coming into the season that when they did exceed them, they tended to fill themselves. And I think we got to get back to reality.
If the team is as soft mentally as you described, and they don't get it together, the whole thing needs to be blown up, because it can't just be Brunson that has a strong mentality that gets the Knicks turned around. It has to be a buy-in from every player I named and a few others too, including Deuce, including OG Anunoby, including Josh Hart, because it's not the Shamits and the Clarksons I'm worried about. It's the core guys that are starting every game and just sets man off the bench. If not everyone buys in, I don't think we can win a championship without all five guys saying, you know what, we were soft. We did take all that for granted. We weren't ready for the moment, but we can be. That excuse has to end today. Today's the last day you use that excuse, and even that's too long of a time to be using it, in my opinion. Let's talk about, can we turn it around? Do you believe that this core can change their mentality and use this absolute ass whoopings, belt to ass that we've gotten from dog shit teams? Can this team, are we capable of turning around? Ryan, again, I will start with you.
Here's the thing. Last year's team under Thibs is basically the same roster outside of a couple additions that we made to the team, mainly on the bench. At times last season, we thought defensively, this team is weak. You know, can't defend against the better teams, always losing. Knicks beat them mainly on the weaker teams last season. The playoffs came. Then all of a sudden, we saw a toughness that wasn't there in the regular season, and they stepped up to the point where they beat the Pistons, which is another tough team. They beat the Celtics, another tough team. And then, unfortunately, they fell to the Pacers. So me looking at that tells me that there's something there, although they're showing mental weakness at the moment. There's something there within the team that should click in when their back is against the wall, that, okay, you know what, we need to step it up a notch and become a tougher team overall. So although they're mentally weak at the moment, it's pretty much the same guys from last year. Like, there should be some type of toughness still within the team, regardless of the fact. And that's why it's confusing that under Thibs, they were able to show it. But under Mike Brown, they're struggling to get that feeling. I don't know if it's a difference of motivation tactics, or I don't know what it is. Under Thibs or Mike Brown, that changed. I'm not in the locker room. I'm not within the organization. I can't really speak to that. But if I'm looking at it from a logical standpoint, the roster is pretty much the same, which means they have that mental toughness in there somewhere. I don't know what it's going to take to unleash it, but I would have to be more on the positive side and be like, I think they can turn it around. But I just don't know what it's going to take for them to turn it around. That's what I'm more concerned about.
What about you, B? Can they turn it around?
I'm actually going to be honest, because my optimism doesn't come from my dishonesty. It comes from, again, believing, and it's hard to believe that we could turn it around at this point, and that's just as honest as I could be, because I think the reason why we did eventually realize we could beat Detroit and realize we can beat the Boston Celtics, because the same way these teams are beating us now, they gave us hope at some point to realize that we can do it, and right now we're not giving ourselves that. So maybe I hope that Jalen Brunson's meeting today gives the team that, but you don't give teams opportunities to feel like they can win, because that's exactly what they're going to do, which is why, yes, Ryan, we beat Detroit and we beat Boston Celtics, because the saying goes, talent, when talent doesn't work hard, hard work beats talent. That's all. We have the talent, but talent could go but so far, as we've seen in many careers across from sports. We always wonder, where did this guy go? Where did this guy go? It wasn't his talent. It was his mentality. It was the work ethic that they put into it. It was the attitude. And I don't see that anybody is putting anything outside beyond their talent right now. I think that we get these little highlight reels from guys shooting 3-pointers when you can't even make free throws or layups. You see guys running after free throw drills, but we're shooting as a team as a whole. I think we're in the 70% range. I don't care about none of that. I want us to put more work into things that we have to get better at. So to me, no, I don't think that we could turn it around. I would have to see how we come off of that Jalen Brunson meeting. If we come out tomorrow and act like our leader spoke to us and we're ready to win again, yes, I would have that hope. But from what I've seen in the last 15, 16 games, and what I definitely saw last night, because the Mavs didn't beat us because they were more talented. They beat us because they wanted to win more and they worked harder to beat us. They didn't beat us because Cooper Flag is this greater player than anybody on the New York Knicks well, he is, but I still think Karl Towns and Jalen Brunson is better than Cooper Flag. So why you let this young man come in and show in and show out is beyond me. Why Najee Marshall and guys like Max Christie look better than Mikal Bridges is beyond me. But it only simply looks that way because they want to win. And I don't think this team wants to win again. So I don't have any hope that it's going to be turned around until I see the next game. No, I don't have any hope. I think that this team, I wouldn't say they don't care. I just don't feel that everything is together. I don't think from what Mike Brown is presenting to them, what the players feel in themselves, and then if you mix it all together, no, I do not see much hope right now at this time.
A strong as it was surprising take. Well said. Fritz, man, what are you thinking?
I see you guys reference the playoffs last year. We played some tough teams, but one of the underrated moves the Knicks did last year was bringing in Marcus Morris, because they did see weakness in last year's team, and they brought in Marcus Morris to kind of bring an edge.
PJ Tucker?
I'm sorry, PJ Tucker.
Wrong watch.
Oh wow!
Marcus Morris right now.
I'm sorry.
You watch guys
No, I do
mistaken.
need a
Yeah.
boo thing, Jay. I do need a boo thing.
Yeah. So they brought PJ Tucker in because they did see some softness with the Knicks. And it did help with Detroit. Detroit came in absolutely being over physical. And PJ Tucker kind of reminded the Knicks, you saw him pushing guys at certain times. And that's something this roster doesn't have. There's someone outside of the friend group to say, hey, you know what? Sit up, or you did that wrong, or you could do better. And it's not in a cliquey way, because I'm not sure how Jalen is with his best friends other than the last guys on the bench, but there has to be a difference. There has to be someone else who can tell somebody you're doing this wrong and you have to respect it. And I don't think there's a guy on that roster currently.
Damn, bat fire take.
I was gonna say real quick first. I agree with you with that, because sometimes as a friend, when it comes off, it's like, that's just Jalen saying that. Like, that's why I wasn't really a big fan of having so many dynamics of a friendship as the core. I like that you get one or two guys that are cool. They went to college together, cool, whatever. But when it's like 4 or 5 of these guys, it's hard to take your guy serious, because you're like, we joke around so much. So I agree with you. They do this roommate show, which I feel needs to be canceled at this point.
Yes,
They need to
abolish
that.
it. Abolish
They're
it.
joking all the time, and it's like, when it does come down to a serious moment, you do wonder if they're receiving it as serious as is being projected, which is why I again want to see how serious they take what Jalen Brunson said today.
I want to address 2 comments real quick. Appreciate you, Ray St. Patrick, for reposting the stream. Very kind, and I hope you're enjoying the content. First time to see Vespasian here in the chat. Also, a dope-ass hat in your AVI. Did Lee just say the team needs to be blown up? Third team in the East needs to be blown up. 3 question marks, 5 question marks in total, 2 exclamation points. No, I did not say that. Did not say the team needs to be blown up, but I do think a major trade does need to happen. No, I don't think it needs to be a total blow up. I do believe in Jalen Brunson to be a championship first option. That has not changed. But what I do believe is that he cannot be the most vocal guy in the room. Not because he doesn't have leadership qualities, but I've been saying this for multiple pods in a row. Your worst defender cannot tell other players to play better defense. When they look at you and they're like, you're the biggest liability on the court every time. You're hunted every single game. When you play the hardest defense you possibly can, it's not even average defense. It's still below average defense. We treat him and with kid gloves like a baby when he actually plays mediocre defense. That's embarrassing. And part of it is his physical attributes, like myself, doesn't allow him to be a great defensive player because he doesn't move well laterally. He's not hyper athletic. He's also short and close to the ground, but there's also an effort thing there. It's obvious that he saved some of his energy for the offensive side of the ball because he kind of should, because of how damn good he is on offense. It makes sense, but that doesn't absolve him of criticism. He is the worst defender. So when you have a player meeting, how much weight do you really carry when, one, you're the worst defender on a team, and two, you've been ball hogging the whole game against the Mavs? You came out in the second half and ball hogged. You stayed on ball and chucked. I'm sorry, bro. If I'm Karl-Anthony Towns or Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, I'm like, yo ass is saying this? Hell no. And you saw Mikal Bridges in the timeout when Brunson was trying to corral him. You sitting there like, not this bullshit again. I would have too. Because, brother, you play no damn defense and you hog the ball way too often. So there's criticism there that is fair. It doesn't mean trade Brunson. It doesn't mean Brunson sucks. It doesn't mean I'm going to burn my Brunson jersey. It doesn't mean it was a mistake signing him. No, but your superstar also must be held accountable as much as a 15th man on your roster. That's what made the organization of the San Antonio Spurs so damn great, because they instituted that from top to bottom. Second, I actually agree with B on this one. I do not think this current core can turn it around because teams take on the identity of your coach, and Mike Brown is soft as Charmin. He is a soft human being. He is a soft man. He is a soft coach. And I know I can be a zesty MFer on this show. I know that. And zesty to no zesty, my man is zesty. And I don't mean that in any derogatory sexual way. I mean that in the content of his character and how much he can lead other individuals to be the best version of themselves. And that includes a high level of masculinity. I don't trust this man to do that with this specific team. A bunch of dogs. The 07 Boston Celtics, Doc Rivers' bum horse ass could motivate them to win a championship. Because all you had to do is say kumbaya and everyone's going to win. You got Garnett and Rondo and Allen and Posey and Paul Pierce. Of course, this team's different. This is a bunch of soft Boy Scouts. You need someone to come in and light a fire under their ass, which is why Tom Thibodeau was the loudest voice in the room, which is why Tom Thibodeau was the vocal leader of his team. Mike Brown isn't capable of doing that. He might know more schemes. He might be more reference, more defensive plays. He might be able to have more interesting conversations and combinations of players. That's great. We need that too. But what this team specifically needs, with Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, and Karl-Anthony Towns, is someone to light a fire and be a man among boys. And that's not what Mike Brown can do or will do or is capable of doing. So one or two things needs to happen. Either he goes or the softest mentally person on the team goes, which is Karl-Anthony Towns. Because that's what we are right now, y'all. The 1 and 5 are compromised. You can't win a championship when your 1 and your 5 is compromised defensively. I don't believe it. I don't believe that this team, as it currently constructed, can. So it either means Mike Brown's ass is out or Karl-Anthony Towns' ass is out. I'll leave it to the chat and to y'all to argue on who it is, but I had to let that loose. That's the one thing that's still really been bothering me is I have no faith in Mike Brown. Ryan, we were all right, bro. We tried real hard to rally ourselves and be like, Mike Brown, baby, more schemes. Oh, we don't see some zone. The zone sucked. We don't see more switching. The switching sucks. We don't see some man-to-man, but guys don't guard up. That sucks now, too. We don't see more off-ball action. We did for a month and a half. That's gone now. Where's the cutting? Where's the relocation? Where's the off-ball screens being set for weak side action? All of that is gone. It's back to ISO ball no matter who's touching it. Not just Brunson, Bridges, OG, KAT. Disappointing. What are we going to do? I don't know. Let's ask the panel. Fritz, you're the trade machine guru. You're the man with a plan. What do you think the Knicks should do to fix us immediately? Not long-term, not in the summer. Right now, what is the best move at our disposal to improve a team, in your opinion?
Make sure you have less finesse players. players who have skills, but don't play as hard, and so you need to get some workers in the building. So, so the first thing I would do, and it's difficult because I know I would probably do true trades. I'd probably get Jose Alvarado. I think is necessary at this point. I think he's necessary going forward, and I would get someone else. And
So Alvarado would guard the point of attack, but what about the core players? Are there any of the core players that you would consider moving, and would you consider firing Tom Thibodeau? Because there are some people I never thought I would hear say fire the coach. My main brother Raw Hebrew on his podcast today said fire Mike Brown, and he even advocated for either hiring Mike Malone or calling Tibbs back, which I see people in the chat, Prezi the boss, saying call Tibbs. I am 100% against that. That ship has sailed. Like the optics on that are like unbelievable. And he lost the locker room. Like the reason he was fired was because people were saying this guy needs to go. You can't try to, that is absolute to me disaster zone to call him back. But I do think it's perfectly fine, normal and healthy to question the hiring of Mike Brown. So I'm asking you, Fritz, do you make a move with the core 7 or do you change a coach? What do you think?
Out of the core 7, Mikal Bridges is the one I'm seriously. I think if I had traded KAT at this moment, the return would be so low that it wouldn't be worth it. So I think Mikal is the one I would trade. Because and the reason I'm going to trade Mikal, not because he's not a good player, but Wingstop we had a year and a half and it hasn't worked.
Can I ask you, what position would you trade? Would you trade him for a different position, like a center or a forward, or would it be kind of a wing for wing?
I would trade someone I could put it in the top 7. So, starting center going forward, a young center.
Moving KAT to the 4?
Huh?
You would be moving KAT to the 4?
I would move KAT to the 4 if I could.
Okay. All right. First starting center. Ebony, my sis, so happy to have you here too, because you as well were not able to have the conversation with us last night. And I don't think you've shared a podcast with Be the Motivator. So we got both the AAU queens in the house, the basketball, our basketball women leaders and voices in the house. Beautiful moment for the KOT pod. And what timing too. We're here ripping apart the New York Knicks, Tom Thibodeau, soon ripping apart Leon Rose as well. That conversation will be coming. I want to give you, before I move the ball to B, I want to hear what she thinks we should do right now. Ebony, just have a moment to vent about what your feelings are on this team right now. I'll give you a few minutes to go absolutely off.
You see that? What's up, y'all? I missed y'all. First of all, look, I was about to go straight in. I missed y'all. I'm glad to be back and sharing the pod for the first time with B. Let's get it. Let's get it. You ready, B? But this right here, I don't know if y'all see it. You see that? Make defense great again. Like that's it. Just make defense great again. I sat there and I couldn't watch the second half, but I did rewatch the first half of that game yesterday. And it made the rewatch, y'all, made me so dejected. It's the first time where I'm like, yo, this is not it. I went from we could get it together to after the rewatch saying this is not it. This is not going to work. And I know we're quite right now. I'm confused because I'm not sure if it's Mike Brown or they're not feeling him right now or something in the locker room because the energy is just not there. It's just not there. One-on-one basketball the whole time from start to finish. Like it was no continuity, nothing at all. It's just the worst basketball I've seen in a very, very long time. Like on both ends, there's no direction. There was just your turn, my turn. What happened to the multiple movement? What happened to 2 or 3 people moving at the same time? Now you have one person, everybody else watching again. What's that about? We have and then if we have 2 players that can't play together, and it's been 2 coaches and they still really can't play together, then is it really the coach or is it the fit? So that's why the second rewatch made me very dejected, because I'm like, this is the same problems. KAT starts going off, and guess who's on the bench? Jalen Brunson starts going off, and guess who's on the bench? So it's like, okay, now the fit is screaming. Is not it. It's not it. When you have two players that play as much as they do and they can't hold their own on defense, it will never work. It will never work. I sat there and I'm rewatching stuff and I'm rewinding stuff. And even Clyde blaming OG and Shamet. But I'm looking, I'm like, it's not OG and Shamet. What happened to the blow by on Jalen Brunson? They're not even tween hezzy to get by him. It's straight Olay. So like, what are we doing? Like, he straight by him. None of this. Just hope. Oh, I got Jalen Brunson on me, barbecue chicken. And then when I get past him, guess who's there to see me? Karl Anthony Towns, who's not cutting off a baseline. He lets me Olay too. So I got woo. So then Shamet comes over and says, "Oh, I gotta help my two defensive challenge buddies." And then he comes to move. But now he just now, like a good player does, he passes, he sprays it back out to the 3-point line to Christie. So now Shamet has to recover, right? And it looks like that was a bad play on him. Same thing with OG. Same thing happens with Mikal. When you have two defensive challenges persons like that, we're never going to lock in on defense. It will never happen. We need two players that know that basketball is more than just scoring. We're not going to win when your two stars are so scoring dominant and do none of the little things. None of them. And then we're wondering why the who's are beating us, because they're just making the game simple. I'm open, I shoot. My teammate's open, I'm giving it to him to shoot. It's not ho. I sat there and rewatched. I couldn't do the second half. I couldn't do it. I couldn't rewatch the second half. I sat there and people say, "Oh, we don't get KAT involved." The first quarter, I saw us go constantly to them. And what did Dallas say? Dallas said, "We're going to double you. We're not going to give you the opportunity to go one-on-one with us. We're going to see and use your IQ." What's that IQ look like? I'm going to double you and see what your decision making is. Not so much. When he makes clear, clean decisions, things happen. Like good things happen. He started lagging and whatever he's doing, KAT, then nothing happens. It was one-on-one basketball that whole game. It was atrocious. The fast break defense. That's not coaching. That is not coaching. That is your effort. That is your effort. That's your focus. That is your effort and focus. You pick up a man. I'm tired of the dribbling. We don't touch a body pause until they're at the free throw line. Touch somebody, pause. Touch somebody. Mariah KAT, whatever you got to do. Like, what are we doing?
The chat has definitely missed you, Ebony. I want to shout out this excellent rant, by the way. Agree on just about every point. But shout out Paris Dutter for giving us a $5 super chat during a bitch fest. real fan right here in the house. Paris Dutter says, "I wonder if KAT is purposefully playing bad to sabotage being traded. Dumb plays, low energy, those layups he's missing is really looking a little, if that's the case, get his ass out of here.
Call the FBI like Lee said.
Someone tagged FBI on that. Hey, Parrish, we appreciate you, bro. You've been actually donating a lot recently, and I want to give you a personal thank you from me and the crew. I know Jay Ellis appreciates it. It helps pay the bills, helps pay StreamYard and everything, so it doesn't have to come out of our pocket. Very appreciative of the help that you're giving us financially on that. Much love. And also, as soon as Ebony joined, another 30 people watching in chat. I see y'all sharing. I see y'all spreading the word on Twitter. Really appreciate it. Please keep going. We're trying to have a vent out session, a cookout session, a come to Jesus moment with our KOT family and Knicks family at large, because shit is not good right now. The Knicks are not playing good basketball right now. We're playing disgusting basketball. And look at this, man. Listen, Paris Dunder, major shout out, brother. Another $5 super chat. He needs to continue the thought, so he's going to continue the money. I appreciate that. To be honest, I think we get back on track in 5 games once Brunson and Hart are fully healthy and we sleep on our own beds for a week. Let's not crash out. I think that's a reminder to me. Is you know me, man. I'm a crash out king. All right, Parrish. I'll calm down a little bit. I'll pass the mic to B and see what she says that we should do to try to fix this slide?
Because unfortunately, yes, I think that we are stuck with Mike Brown and Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal. I do think that we are going to keep the ball rolling with these guys. So would I like for things to be different? Yes. But I think I'm going to speak on what I think is going to happen, not what I would want to happen. And what I think is going to happen is we are stuck with this core. The thing about the good and the bad thing though is the reason why I'm a little optimistic is because I've actually watched this team closely since Carmelo Anthony, and since I watched Carmelo Anthony, it's always been a certain specific person that's to blame. When it was Melo here, it was Carmelo. We didn't winning because of Carmelo. When it was Randall here, we're not winning because of Randall. When now it's Karl Towns here, we're not winning because Karl. So I'm not really big on saying we're not winning because of a sole player. When I'm very also big on teams win championship, not players. So in order for us to win, we need the team to collectively come together. So I was very big on, yes, I think your 1-5 could win because I saw Denver do it. But why did Denver do it? They trusted Jamal and Nikola Jokic. We do not. Shout out to my guy TG, by the way. That's one of my favorite people on there. So shout out to you. They trusted.
Hey, you brother.
Yes.
Go.
We do not trust Jalen and Towns. We've watched multiple games where people see Karl Towns on the island and they run over. It's not like they're even coming over just a little bit. They will completely leave their man over and come completely over. You don't have to even know basketball to see I don't trust you. I'm over here because I don't think that you are capable of playing this guy one-on-one. We see guys blow by Jalen Brunson and boom, there's a layup where you see Mikal throwing his arms down, or you'll see people like another basket on them. And this is another thing people seem to forget. This is the NBA. If I see Jalen Brunson on me and I know he can't play, it's not about being better than Jalen Brunson. It's the fact that barbecue chicken, I'm going to get to grilling. I don't gotta be better than Jalen Brunson to score on Jalen Brunson. I'm an NBA player. I'm smarter than it. I should know this. And we need a bucket right now, so I'm gonna go get it. So that's where again it all goes back to mentality. We have to. I really am so excited to see the game after Jalen Brunson was in that locker room to see if we are actually listening to this guy and we're going to come out and play better, because we can't keep saying this Karl Anthony Towns fault. We can't keep saying this Mikal Bridges fault. We can't keep saying it's just Mike Brown fault. Because when you now put all those pieces together, it becomes more than one person's problem. It is Mike Brown's problem. It's Karl Towns' problem. It's Mikal's problem. It's we don't trust each other's problem. And in order to play basketball, you have to trust your other players. I don't see that. I don't think anybody individually trusts someone in entirety. I don't think that there's any player that they feel like, if I'm slacking in this department, he has my back in the other. And if you look at all these NBA championships, yes, they have NBA legends and they have Hall of Famers and they have things like that. But they had people who trusted each other. They trusted each other. There was times where, why did Kobe and Michael Jordan pass that ball again? I feel like you're going to hit that shot. Jalen Brunson does not trust anybody to hit that shot if it isn't him. That's not good. They don't trust the second best player on our team to play defense. That's not good. We don't trust OG and Mikal to hit open shots when we have guys who are injured or stepped down. That's not good. There's so many things that's not good that we can't keep saying, oh, it's this person's fault. It's the team as a whole's fault. And until we all come together and understand, what are you going to do when I'm lacking this? It's going to be a problem across the board. And we already know Karl Towns cannot play defense. So when are we going to come together as a group and be like, yo, our big man struggles with defense. How can we fix this out? Oh, our other guys struggle with offense. How are we going to figure this out instead? Everybody is looking. The thing about these two, when you pay someone so much and you give away for so much, these guys individually feel like, I got to now do this to prove my value. And a lot of them don't realize, no, you don't. Mikal Bridges, you don't have to go out again and score 20 points a game. You do not. But what you do need to do is bust your ass on defense, because that's what we gave 5 picks for you. I know people say 6. We gave 5, though, technically. That's what we gave it for you. OG, we don't need you to go out there and shoot 7 3-pointers and make 5 of them or 6 of them. It'd be nice. Yes, everything would be nice. Life would be nice in a perfect world. There's no such thing as perfect, though. What is a such thing, though, is hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And she got a period. So I'll be right back. But that's where I'm tired of us nitpicking, because I saw the Carmelo Anthony show. It's not Karl Anthony Towns' fault. Everybody needs to come together and figure it out. I'll be right back.
Shout out to TJI Fly for reposting the stream. We appreciate you, brother. Everyone in there, man. Let's bring the whole family in. But did everyone around the laptop, around the TV, call up your homie, put them on speakerphone. It's time to have a family meeting about these Knicks, because shit is getting nasty out here in these streets. Ryan G.
This how they see us. This how they see us right now. This how they see us.
On that.
Kirby and a little soft and squishy.
I do want to kind of get back to that comment by Parrish Duggar that Pat's KAT's purposely playing bad. And you could sabotage a team by not purposely playing bad, but not buying in. The kind of doing what they told you to do and not believing it is sabotaging it, because everybody knows that you're not committing to it. And then everybody in the back of their mind is nervous that you didn't commit to what you need to do.
Good
like
point.
it's everybody's problem. If you know someone is gonna struggle, and back of my mind is like, oh man, I'm gonna have to help him. You know what I mean? It is sabotaging by not committing.
Shout out Miss T, one of my absolute favorite people in the Knicks Twitter world. Also, my mentor when it comes to writing, saying that be the motivator is 100% right. Glad you liked that rant. And shout out Miss T. I hope you're doing well in 2026, even though it's rough out here in these streets, on and off the court. Ryan G, I saved you for last because I feel like you are usually the most level-headed of us all. Although Fritz is pretty level-headed too. But I want to know, has your opinion changed at all since last night? And what do you think needs to happen immediately in terms of roster, coaching, front office?
Okay, so I've had some time to think about it and listen to what Ebony had to say, what B had to say, what Fritz had to say, and I have a two-part answer to what I would do.
Hell yeah. Hit us.
Now, I don't know if this is possible, and of course, Fritz is here, and Fritz can pretty much confirm whether this is possible or not. But now, if I'm the GM of the Knicks, I'm going to figure out how can I kind of consolidate one player and turn it into like two or three, like multiple players that can help out the team. So, like for example, if I'm to trade KAT, what I would look for is, okay, is there a way that we can get a defensive big so we can slide him into the starting lineup and at the same time get a point of attack defender that can help guard the point of attack, because that's where the Knicks are poor. And I feel like if the Knicks can make a move like that, that could help shore up the defense a bit, because now you don't have two defensive liabilities in the starting lineup. Now you have only one defensive liability, which is Brunson, and that should help out the defense a bit to where you're not covering for two guys, now you're only covering for one. And of course, the extra point of attack defender I think would be helpful as well, because now you have somebody else where you're guarding at the point of attack, which should help stifle the opposing team's offense. That's number one. So I would try to consolidate one player and try to turn them into two or three players that can help out on the defense side of the ball. That's number one. But also in that, try to understand that you can't really bring back more than you can bring in. So I would try to so it would be one of those trades where it's like I would send out maybe KAT or Bridges and other players as well, but guys at the end of the bench, hopefully, to try to consolidate that into two or three players that could definitely help out, like right now on the roster, and get the team a bit more athletic as well on the defense side of the ball. So that's number one. If I can't make that kind of move and I'm stuck with KAT, Bridges, and all these guys, and I'm stuck with the coach, then I have to start thinking about different defensive schemes that might help mitigate some of the errors on the roster. And at the moment, the Knicks have a switching defense. And I think a lot of times with the switching defense, what teams do is that they hunt mismatches a lot of times. And a lot of times they'll get Brunson or KAT on somebody that they really don't have a chance guarding. And then all of a sudden it's barbecue chicken. Easy. And that's how teams, and then on top of that, the Knicks are stuck over helping. And then when the Knicks over help, somebody's going to be open when the other team passes the ball around. So I think what they should do is stop the switching. Try to stick to your man. Like, get rid of the switching defense. Stick to your man. If there's a screen, run over the screen and try to stick to your man. If it's a pick and roll, you try to get over the screen. Big stops the guard from penetrating to the basket, and then just get back to your man as quick as possible. Like, the switching probably has to stop, because we're already trying to hide Brunson. We're trying to hide KAT as best as we can. And then if we're switching every time a pick is made or this and that, all of a sudden those guys aren't hitting no more. Those guys are found. You know what I mean? So there has to be a way to try to continuously try to hide them on defense. So that's number one. Number two, of course, the other solution is, a zone defense, which the Knicks suck at. So I'm not even sure if that's a solution, because I don't know how you can get better at zone defense overnight. Because usually if your team can't defend man, usually you defend a zone where you're only responsible for a zone of the court, and that can kind of help mitigate some of the errors as well on defense. So I think the most realistic one is probably stop the switching defense and just have guys stick to their man and just play defense like that, so you can hopefully try to continue to hide Brunson on defense and at least try to get KAT a matchup that he can at least be decent at in guarding. So those are my two solutions at the moment, and yeah, that's what I got.
Ryan, I want to push your feet to the fire a little bit more before I pass the rock to Ebony and hear what she would do to change the team. Between Bridges and KAT, who's a bigger priority in trade, in your opinion? Because you mentioned both of them, but let's talk about which one you think needs to go more.
Well, the way I'm thinking about it is I'm thinking more long-term as well, because I do want to make a trade where I can help the team now, but at the same time, I want to put the Knicks in a better position in the offseason to go after a Giannis or somebody to bring them in to help the team out. So in my opinion, it has to be a player that we can at least get a pick or two from, hopefully. I don't know KAT's value at the moment, but like Fritz said, if KAT's value is really low, I don't know if the Knicks get a first round pick in return for trading KAT. I'm not sure if that's possible. So it would lead me to believe that probably I would try to flip Bridges.
Okay.
Because maybe a first round pick comes in return for Bridges, and that gives the Knicks a bit more draft capital where they can look for a bigger trade in the offseason to really try to get this team in a better place.
I do want to say one thing. Is right before we went on the air, I sent out a tweet to Scoop B. I say, hey, have you heard anything about my struggling Knicks? And his response is they still want Giannis. So like anything they're gonna do, they're not going to compromise the pursuit for Giannis either this year or this summer. So any trade, he's like, hey, we're just gonna add a whole bunch of salary onto this. It's not gonna happen. Because they don't want to be in a situation where Giannis is, hey, I want to go to New York, and New York is like, I don't have anything.
Shout out Scoop B. Parrish Dudder, $2 super chat. The third super chat of the night. Best 4 out of 7 and healthy is different from one night. I guess you're talking about the losing streak or a 7-game series in terms of like who we can beat and who we not. Yeah, I think every team that we've lost to in the last 10 games, we should beat in a 7-game series. And really, we should beat that night as well, especially the Hospital Mavs, who are trolling out two-way players and guys they just signed to fill roster spots, in my opinion. But hey, appreciate the super chat. Also, please, Jay ain't here. He wanted a mental health day off. I don't blame him. These Knicks are causing me depression and anxiety too. I got balled up rage inside of me right now. It comes out every other monologue. But please donate, share the stream, get the word there, because Jay and us are trying to build something great here with the KOT platform, and we got a lot of a crew here tonight. Ebony's sister, what do you think we should do to fix the Knicks right now?
First, the little plushie got to stop being so plushy, right? That's number one. If he's going to stay here, he got to get some bones, not be soft. Now he got to get the backbone. He got to understand that you can't you can't hunt contact. The game, the name is like, it's obvious the refs are talking about you. It's obvious that they had conversations about your game. It kind of reminds me of, remember when they changed the rules because Harden and Trae Young were abusing the rule? So it went from them getting every call to at a point they weren't getting any calls. He has to adjust to that. He really does have to adjust to that. Focus on making the basket. If they call the foul in the process, that's a plus. Like, stop thinking about the extras, the outside noise, getting the easy points, and just focus on your game. He makes such things so hard. Mike Brown is a Popovich disciple. He is under that tree. They all have similar game plan systems. You have to know the whole game of basketball on both ends of the court. meaning you have to know your spots. You have to know if this doesn't go well, what's option A, B, C. You have to be a very cerebral player to be able to be effective in these systems. You look at Kerr, you look at Budenhausen, you look at who made when they were at their best, what kind of players they were having. They were having very cerebral players, fundamentally sound players that bought into the system and would do whatever they needed for the team, right? I'm questioning if we have that. I'm questioning right now, do we have a bunch of undercover divas? I really truly didn't think that before. I thought we had the dogs, the people with the work ethic. When stuff didn't go wrong, they was in the gym, in the film room. I don't feel that right now.
Same.
So right now, it just like is a look in the mirror type of thing to fix for me. You got to look at yourself in the mirror. Granted, you might not feel what you feel right now, what's happening. You might not like the difference. They might be challenging you. People don't like to come out their comfort zone, especially your whole year, your whole life, you've been told you're good.
Yeah.
And nobody corrected anything, you're not trying to hear, oh, I got to play differently. You want me to do what? And if that's the case, you got to move on. This is not the team for you. And that's not the system for you, because in that Popovich type of style, offense and defense is all about team, not leaving your player on the island, not hunting for the best available player, but the best available shot. Not feeding into, I need this amount of shots. I don't care who get 20 shots. If somebody get open shot, except for like Josh Hart, because we know that's by design. But you get what I mean. If you're moving the ball and you get the ball to the open player, like Wemby says, Wemby in his second year got it down already. I passed up the shot I could hit. What he said in my sleep for a shot that he could hit. What did he say? What was the quote? That he could hit basically blindfolded or something like that? You get the easiest shots possible. You're not looking for your stats. I'm not trying to hear you at the end of the game. I swear he reminds me of somebody that's going like, oh, look at my box score. I got 20 and 10, but it took you 30 shots to do it, and you still in rebounds from your teammates and not getting the ones that count. I'm tired of the offensive rebound because KAT watching like me. So it got to be focused. The effort, focus, communication. That's the biggest flaws right now that have to be really, really, truly fixed and chained to the film room. I need to see no Fortnite. I don't want to see you ever on a Fortnite commercial ever again. Put the controllers down and pick up a remote control for the TV, for the film, so you could go rewind, fast forward, pause. That's what you need to do. I'm over. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I'm over, KAT. I don't like players like that. I can't do the players who don't do the little things and only focus and whine when things don't go right. You're part of the reason stuff not going right. You talking about campaign? Are we serious right now? You gonna disrespect your teammates like that? Are we serious right now? Like I'm over it. I don't care. KAT fans, come for me, please. I'm with it. We can have conversations. I'm over it. I don't care. Get this. At first, I was like, yeah, let's let the year go by. But after that rewatch, something clicked. It like twisted in me real bad. And I'm like, all right, maybe let's not waste no more time.
Me too.
Now I'm like, maybe let's not waste no more time. So I need us to play to really succeed. I need us to play smarter and not harder. A couple of pump fakes, a couple of pass fakes. That shifts the defense a little bit. It gets them off the toes. If you're hot and you're such a great shooter, KAT, how about you just hit somebody with the pump fake a couple times and then do your move? Make decisive moves. Don't look. You look like you're thinking about everything. And that same thing for Jalen Brunson. Like, you're small, I get it, but don't give in to that. I'm small. It's the same thing with one of my favorite players is Steph Curry. He was it kind of like mirrors ankle injuries. He had ankle injuries. They doubted him from the get-go. They said he wasn't a good defender. Like it just, but he learned. He's a good team defender. It's the effort. Granted, I may never be a lockdown defender, but I'm not gonna let you embarrass me. Have some pride. We gotta fix pride. Like this is crazy. This is not New York style of basketball. I can't. This is not us. Physicality. We're not touching people. We're not touching people until they get to the free throw line. That's over. That's an easy shot. You just let somebody walk into their spot. So yeah, focus, IQ, effort, heart. It ain't nothing X and O's. Just look in the mirror.
I have been really impressed by how active the chat is. I'm loving how active the chat is, loving how generous the chat is. Y'all also are just like communicating. People are communicating each other. They're communicating to us. I'm going to continue bringing the comments up and discussing them when I feel like that they're really challenging and insightful. So please keep the chat going. And J Mars Photography, thank you very much for the $9.99 super chat. He says support the KOT team. Listen, we got 5 of the dogs right here.
That's my guy.
The only one missing right now is my main man, Phil, my Puerto Rican brother, and Jay Ellis, who's taking the mental day off. But you know what? The 5 of us are here. Yeah, but it's still a badass team right here, y'all. Don't sleep. We got some dogs. The Knicks don't have dogs, but we got dogs in this chat right now, too. Let's believe.
Before I forget, one more thing we also have to do. If they're going to make trades, again, we have to forget we did the whole trying to make Brunson and build around, right? So maybe work with your new coach a little bit more. We got a bench that's supposed to score, but we don't have defensive instincts. You know, when you look at love you too, Jay. When you look at Detroit, they have Duncan Robinson. It's the one person that probably they have to hide. Everybody else has real good defensive instincts. Yes. So they know when to come double. They know when to come dig in, pause. They know when to rotate. They're there and help situations. You get what I mean? Jordan Clarkson just be like, oh, I think I should do it now. Be like, why are you doubling Isaiah Stewart? Like, what are you doing?
It's trash.
At the 3-point line. We got to get some defense. Their instincts are not there. The IQ, and that comes with film and buying in really on defense. There's 2 sides of the court. So
I definitely want to comment on the KAT. That's where I am too, Eb. I think KAT's got to go. I think even before we trade Mike Brown, I agree with you. This game, the 2 Dallas games, man, the Dallas game where Luka got the offensive rebound off the free throw and put it in, I was there. That still haunts me to this day. And this game really changed something in my mind about how I view this team. A lot of the optimism was sucked out of me. Pause. After watching this beat down. Not to the Tuesday. I'm sorry, Jay.
Hey, yo.
Flag on the play.
Hey, yo.
Bridges and
Lee
KAT.
trying to get a flag. Nah.
Bridges and KAT were so damn bad. And they're really, both of them, I feel like they both got to go. But I still think Bridges, there's something there defensively that I think we should hold on to. But KAT, we can no longer play a starting 5 with KAT at the 5 and Brunson at the 1. We cannot do it. I don't believe we can win a championship with those 2 guys because we don't get hunted. KAT's don't get hunted and Brunson's don't get hunted. So if you have to get rid of one, Brunson ain't going nowhere, which means KAT's doofy, bumbling, dumbasses that get off the team and out somewhere else for someone to come in and play defense. So we're not a point guard, pick and roll city where we're just a turnstile and, Ole to the rim, like Ebony said. It's a great point. We've been that all season. That's how every team has beaten us. It's a template on how to attack us, and Mike Brown doesn't have the strategy to fix it or the balls to say it, and not have it as any player on the roster. So to me, we got to trade KAT by the deadline, get some defense in here. So this season is not a wash. But we got to calm down. The chat wants to know about trades, so let's talk about trades.
I did want to say one thing real quick before we get into that. I did want to say that was another thing I wanted to end my rant. I had to go on a pee break quick. That was my major thing too about trust and stuff like that. I cannot trust that my team has my back when a guy like Draymond Green is making fun of me on a podcast, and then not only just my coach but my father shakes this man's hand. It's little things like that are. It goes beyond basketball. I understand there's a way to be respectful without being disrespectful. And there's a way to be disrespectful without being, you can just nod your head, throw up a good game, or you can just do what Jalen Brunson did last night. Walk right out of whatever the people want to say, that's fine. But the people shouldn't be able to say what we've been saying. Are you guys serious? You're giving Draymond Green a hug. You're laughing with him at the free throw line. You're chuckling with him after the game. You're probably swapping jerseys. That's unacceptable. So sometimes that's why I don't like to harp on Towns because who has my back? Who has my back? who's anybody who I can turn around and say? And the other thing I wanted to harp on was what said. I actually, which is why I'm not big on it yet, because if Giannis wants to come over, I'm actually glad that they're going to be smart for once and keep pieces to be able to obtain him, because I saw something ridiculous today, and it was for Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday, and I was like, do we really want to win a championship or not? And you win championships with guys like Giannis Antetokounmpo, so if that he's somebody that we can still obtain, you want to keep some of these pieces despite the ball right now.
Roman the Chosen 1611. I'm assuming since you just finished speaking, you're talking about the young lady named B the Motivator, aka Miss the back with Ian Begley, aka New York Game with Dexter Henley. She's been a guest recently on both those shows and has been a great representative for KOT. And she's in her rookie season this year. It's her first year with the podcast. Appreciate the love and appreciate the support. She's not a fan. You know, the more visibility you get, the more fans you get. Sometimes in my case, the more haters you get. Shout out Pitch for Timmy and the rest of the crew in the chat. They love to roast me. Listen, man. I think that's a great point. Let's talk about that first, B. I'm glad you brought that up. I want to hear from everybody. I think I'm going to start with Fritz here. Just a little bit, someone who's I think also has a rational take. What did you think about Karl-Anthony Towns not being defended in the Draymond Green episode, but then for Mike Brown to dap him up, for his pops to dap him up, and every single one of his teammates to dap him up, and how then it was signaled, I believe it was Shams that reported that people around the organization, which who does that mean, right? Is that Brock Howard? Is that Gerson Rosas' bum ass? Who does that mean? But someone was unhappy with the way that Mike Brown specifically was dapping up Draymond Green after the game, his former player when he was assistant coach at the Warriors. So they're close. That's not just some like random bond. They were close. But I want to hear what you did about it, and then I'm going to pass the rock over to Ryan since B's win already.
I didn't like it either. He's not part of the Villanova crew, so he's not the tightest person. This alienates him more. Like if we're going to be honest, it alienates him more. I thought what Draymond did to him in the game, somebody should got in Draymond's face. It shouldn't even had to go until after the game. Like somebody should have gotten one of your top two players. Like you need to defend him. Like, yeah, it's inexcusable. Like this, the old '90s Knicks. Remember, don't pick up the other player.
Right.
You pick up your own player. You never give a hand to the other player. That's the kind of rules that they needed to then enact, because that was ridiculous.
Ryan G.
I'll say this. If Draymond Green is speaking the truth about the situation, he was saying how OG said something to him, Rick Brunson said something to him, and I forgot the third guy that you mentioned.
OG.
Yeah, I mentioned OG. Yeah, so that gives me some type of hope that, players are at least talking up and trying to defend him. But at the same time, I feel like a stronger message needs to be sent, because the type of player Draymond Green is, just saying small things like, lay off KAT and this and that, that's not going to work. Draymond Green is the type of player that he's going to be on you, pause, for the whole game. So I think in a situation like that, like I didn't like Mike Brown dapping up Draymond Green after the game. KAT's pops, look, I'm not going to say nothing about KAT's pops because I got respect for KAT's pops, but even that was kind of suspect. But I do feel like in that kind of situation, there comes a time, and I get it. Guys don't want to get suspended. Guys don't want to get teed up. I get it. But sometimes I feel like there's situations where it's like, you know what? After technical, after game suspension, I'm going to go up in this dude's face. I'm going to slap him upside the head. Like sometimes you just have to do it. Sometimes it's called for. You know what I mean? And that's why I mentioned it in the chat that we have. Like, yo, if KAT was to go up to Draymond Green and slap him across the face and get like a 5-game suspension, I wouldn't even be mad. Because I'd be like, yo, you standing up for yourself and you let him know, like, nah, this can't go on no more. Like, if you're going to talk to me a certain way, you're going to get a certain reaction. You know what I mean? So it gives so I'm kind of mixed on this. Like, yeah, it gives me some type of hope that, players are trying to like talk off him. But at the same time, when things get out of hand in the game, especially with the flagrant foul that Draymond Green committed in that game on KAT, you have to slap him beside. You have to slap him beside the head or do something. Like, you got to show him, like, you can't get away with that.
We seen the big example of Mitch. Mitch is still limping around from what Embiid did to him. Like, you have to send a message that that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen ever.
And Fritz and everybody with the relove and rewriting history and thinking back to the exes about iHeart, he didn't do not a thing. So we miss iHeart. He still didn't do anything either. And last year, Tibbs was hugging Draymond too. We had the same conversation, and the comments that Draymond had said were fresh. Remember that? He had just said it. KAT didn't play. He had said some outlandish comments and doubled down on it. And it was still last year. So people who like to rewrite history, it was the same thing last year. We have to. I played basketball against a lot of people I cared about. So much so that your coaches would get in your head about it. Like, oh, your cousin about to have 30 on you. They would get in your head about it. They would know and use it against you. So yeah, that would have been my family member, like the godmother of my kids you play against kind of vibe. And we wouldn't talk until we was outside, like outside, away from the game, the air hitting your face. We're not near nobody else. Like, we would not speak. You can't do that. You can't do that. At this time, there is no friends and family in basketball. It's a business. You know how they say there's no friends. And you understand that. That's why this era of basketball, as a basketball purist like I am, it makes me very angry. The whole buddy, the lack of competition, the lack of accountability, lack of defense, the lack of basketball fundamentals. It drives me nuts. Yeah. Everybody want to out jump people and run through people and tween, hezzel, travel. And the referees don't call it. It's not basketball. That's not basketball. It used to be 20 points a quarter. Now we hoping for less than 30. This not basketball. We need to get back to basketball, please.
Definitely want to continue to shout out the chat for how active you've been. Also, shout out for just how much everyone cares. We got over 300 people watching right now on combined platforms, which for us, we're a smaller channel. We're not one of the gatekeepers of Knicks YouTube streets, as they like to act. We're here trying to build organically behind the vision of our main man, Jay Ellis, and we really appreciate the love you guys are showing us, the super chats, the resharing of his streams, how active you guys are. This matters a lot to me, not just for myself, but I care a lot about Jay. I agree with what everyone said, specifically what Fritz said. I think I agree with the most. And also B, I think I love the passion. I mean, everyone felt this way, right? I am a very emotional person. I try not to be, because my emotions get me in trouble. And I know I joked about the zesty shit, but I'm also a very violent person, meaning I grew up in a very violent past. Violent situations have happened to me. I grew up in very gang-infested neighborhoods. I was a victim of violence. I inflicted violence. I love to fight. I love to get punched in the face. And I love punching people in the face. These are issues I had to struggle with, right? I can be a mad dog on a leash, and that causes me a lot of time to bark. And last episode, I had to rein myself in because I was so angry I wanted to fight with Jay. And I thought to myself, Jay's not really I want to walk up to Ivory Tower of MSG and punch James Dolan in the face with his ass track team that he's put in front of me that I am rooting for. The only sport I watch is this damn Knicks, and they suck ass. And so I realized, you know what, Jay and I are on the same team. That also causes me to be very defensive. I can go after other content creators and shoot my mouth off and say things to people who are big, heavy hitters on Twitter and say, you're a bum or you're a goofball or you're a wannabe. I have that issue. That's what I have to work on. What the Knicks have to work on is stop being such a bunch of soft. You know what I'm trying to say.
Charmin, like you say, Charmin.
Someone needs to step up and smack somebody. You know what I'm saying? That needs to happen. You're right, Jay. I'm sorry. That was a hypothetical, all right? No one take me seriously. I'm in Texas. Don't worry. I can't afford a flight right now. It's all good. I'm not coming to all right? But what I'm saying is someone on this team, if the whole team has this mentality, from the coach to the GM to the star player, somebody on the end of the bench or acquainted with Towns, should have slapped him. The fact that his pops did it, I thought was just a horrible optics and visibility as well, because he knows the stuff that Draymond said about his absence and not wanting to smoke, and why KAT wasn't there because a member of his family died, or someone close to his wife. Like, bro, what is going on here? Like, you're just exuding softness all around. It's funny, maybe I joked about that, to do the poking in the butt thing, which is not my thing, right? But when they won the cup, they did that. They joked about it on the podcast. I have my moments where I joked about zestiness. But when shit hits the fan, you got to be a dog and stand up for your homies. And that doesn't happen on this team. And that is indicative and an indictment of why I don't think this team is going to win a championship as is. So let's talk about how we
sorry, Lee, I do want to say one thing. And the thing is, it just takes one time. It just takes one time.
Yeah.
It just takes one time. So we're not asking every time, go out and punch these guys in the face, get suspended, and do that. It takes one time. And the other thing that shuts guys like this is winning. You have to win. That's it. It's just that simple. And winning goes beyond the fact of we're better than you. That's why we're losing. We're better than them, but that is not about the talent. So that's all I wanted to just end with that. We have not beat Draymond Green since we acquired KAT. If I was Draymond Green, I would be talking ish too. And he has every right to, but you don't continue to give him the right by then shaking his hand and then losing to him. You want to shake his hand, that's fine, but shake his hand after the dub then. You're not going to lose and then shake this man's hand. So that's where I had the issue with it too. Just that you got to beat these teams. So then you want to roll the dice, that's cool, but we wouldn't be able to roll the dice if we won. You wouldn't be able to talk this crap if we won. So these teams are able to do these things because not only are they doing these antics, they're then beating us. So you shut these guys up by winning. And that's what I want us to do. Start winning.
Yeah. Now, you know what I say? You don't need a bunch of stars. You just need a bunch of people to star in your role.
Shout out to the X, yes. Shout out. Big heavy X here.
we not starring in no roles. Well, my man Mitch starring in them roles.
Yeah, Mitch is playing good.
What's up?
Never trade Mitch. That's why we started, right?
But yeah, let's get into trades. Let's get into trades, man.
Right.
What's up? I still see people talking about we could trade Mitch. People love a self-sabotage.
Yo. I don't know what Mitch is working on right now behind the scenes, but it might be a Mitch trade. You never know.
Hey,
it might be, but people love a self-sabotage.
You trade Mitch. I don't know about Mitch.
You trade Mitch. You trade your championship aspirations. You're going to trade somebody that doesn't need the ball to be as effective as he is. Like, the amount of attention that he garners without averaging 10 points is ridiculous. You're going to get rid of somebody who impacts the game the way he does without needing one play call for him. Yeah, I don't know what to say about you as a basketball fan. I'm sorry.
I'll explain. I agree with you, but I'm gonna have an explanation. But I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna have to have an explanation of why someone would want to trade me.
Please explain to us. To choose my angle. Sorry, my phone was down.
Go ahead. Oh, my mute button.
Who we starting with?
Go ahead, Fritz. What was the what happened?
Fritz, you don't explain yourself.
Yeah. So I think in 2026, your best chance to win is with Mitchell Robinson. I don't doubt that one bit.
Okay.
But if you think that the Knicks are, when we thought we were the top two in the East, okay. I realistically thought the Knicks could win the championship, and they needed every advantage they could to win that championship, and we had a realistic way. But if I think the Knicks are one of the top six, if I think we're one of the top six teams in the East, I can't be championship or bust. I can't think solely about 2026. I have to think about 26, 27, 28, 29. And then, so if I'm thinking about more than this year, and I don't think I have a realistic advantage in winning the championship, I might think about those following years more than thinking about this year. And the Knicks, what the Knicks can do, the Knicks could give him a contract right now. If James Dolan wanted to give him a contract, he could sign Mitch right now. James Dolan could have gave him a contract last summer. So he didn't think his value last summer was less than it is now. I think he's increased his value. So if you didn't like that price tag this summer, and you think you're going to sign Mitch for less than he was asking for this summer, I think you may have to think about your future.
If it comes down between KAT or re-signing Mitch and Deuce, get KAT the hell out of here. I would rather have Mitch and Deuce than KAT personally, because those are two guys I feel like I depend on the most on everyone on this team to play defense. Right, Jalen Brunson offensively, no doubt, but to play defense, game in, game out, they guard the two toughest positions on the court, the 1 and the 5. The two of you have to be the smartest at. The two you have to give 110 energy at. To me, that's way more valuable than Karl-Anthony Towns' three-point shooting on any given night, or even the gravity that it brings. Let's talk about the trades finally, though. Our main man, Steve Popper, had a tweet yesterday. Actually, it was an article that then got retweeted. At the very end of the article, he referenced that he has heard the New York Knicks have expanded conversations around Karl-Anthony Towns beyond just the Milwaukee Bucks and the Giannis negotiations, but that they also checked in with the Charlotte Hornets, the Orlando Magic, and the Memphis Grizzlies, signaling that there has possibly been some conversations about moving Towns going as far back as this summer. Maybe that means they're questioning his fit or questioning the lack of cohesion between him and Brunson, or maybe it's a defensive compromise at the 5 and the 1 between him and Brunson. But I'm very interested to hear what you guys think about that in general, about those three teams. And also I want to throw out, first I want to get everyone's general comments. Then I'm going to throw out some hypotheticals, and we'll all vote. Thumbs up, thumbs down, or whatever we do it. I'm really interested specifically on Ebony and B, who are two people who are typically no trade free as me. They want to keep it core as is. I think we all have the same conclusion that something's got to give on this team. So I'm wondering which ones influence you to say I'm down with a trade and which one's not. But let's talk about the three teams in general, Charlotte, Orlando, and Memphis. Do any of those teams interest you as a trade destination? And if they do, is there a player or two you're really interested in? I'm going to start with Be the Motivator.
As I am actually looking here again, I please, if you have not seen the Dexter Henry interview, please check it out, because Fritz always has helped me tremendously with understanding trades, because I used to be one of those people who just throw out names, not realizing not only does the money have to work, but the talent on top of the money has to come together. So I did see some trades in there, people asking for those. Dillon Brooks is not being traded from the Suns. I wouldn't be if I was the Suns. I'm not trading him either. So Dillon Brooks is off the table. I don't know if Trey Murphy is looking to be traded either. So with the names that you did mention, the reason why off the rip I don't care for the Hornets or the Grizzlies is because when I look at some of their top players, and if we're looking to get rid of Towns, I don't see the guys who are highly paid on their end we would flip and get better or get something that we need in return from them. Like with the Hornets, I don't care for LaMelo or Bridges' contract. And then in Memphis, I really do not care for Ja or any of those contracts. But then we look at Orlando, and I start to care a little bit because they do got some pieces in KCP, Jalen Suggs, players like that I'd be very interested in. So if I was to do business with any of one of those teams, it would more likely be Orlando.
Okay. Ebony, Mrs. Free is me. How do you feel about the three teams mentioned? And is there any players on those three teams that jumps out as an ideal candidate for the Knicks to target?
Like B, Orlando, because two-way players. That's it. If you can't play the other side of the ball, we don't need you. It's just two. Whoever. I like Anthony Black. I like Jalen. I love their intensity. I love the two-way nature of them. And they trying to get better. You see they're working on their offensive game. So the defense is there, and they're continually working on their offensive game. I'm cool with those. Triple J, I've mentioned a billion times how I will never look at him the same as a player. FIBA kind of ruined his image to me in my eyes. He's not. I get granted if he comes here, he probably play the 4 and be next to Mitch. So that might work because he did do well next to Steven Adams when he was with Memphis for that period of time, right? So I don't know, but I'm not a Triple J fan. I think he is a big shooting guard too. I think that his defense, he's cool, but he has his flaws on that end also. And his allergic to rebounding, no. So like the Anthony Blacks, the Suggs of the world, yeah, I'm definitely cool. I've been screaming Herb for forever. I know that's not a chance, but that's the type of players that I like. So I would definitely look at Orlando. What was the other team you said? Orlando,
Memphis, and Charlotte.
LaMelo, the N1, the professional N1 player, the man who has nothing to play for. You want him under the lights in New York? No. And before we get to the next thing, I keep seeing the Mitch trade, the Mitch trade. I don't know if you looked around the league, but the league has pretty much told you that people are prioritizing their team's health to get to the playoffs as healthy as they can. Everybody has learned their lesson. You see the Cavaliers do it. Nobody's rushing people back. Maybe us still, but everybody else, nobody's rushing anybody back right now. They're trying to get their team as healthy as possible. So I keep seeing the Mitch stuff, and it's all about what we wanted. We last year we called for low management pause all the time, right? We do a little low management. Then when we get a coach that actually does load management, y'all talk about he don't play every game. As long as he play in the playoffs, we got a chance. That is it. That is all. Move on next, Mitch haters. All right, that's it. That's what I gotta say.
100%. I'm saving Fritz for last because he's my trade guru. Ryan G, of the 3 teams Steve Popper talked about, what do you think about those 3 teams in general? Is there any player on one that really jumps out to you as a target?
Well, Charlotte is definitely out the picture. Charlotte doesn't really interest me as a trade partner. There's not really a lot of players on that team that interest me who I would think would make the Knicks better in a KAT trade. So, yeah, Charlotte's out the picture for me. So it's between Orlando and Memphis. The thing with Memphis is Memphis does have a good defensive big in Jaren Jackson, which is, appealing on the defensive side of the ball. But then the issue is his contract, because I did some research like Fritz said, and yeah, this year he's not that expensive, but next year going forward, he will be expensive. And I'm not sure how that's going to factor in with the Knicks cap situation or what they can do or whatever the case may be to still be like a big cap flexible. So that's a turnoff with Memphis. So that leaves the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Magic have a lot of two-way players that are appealing on that roster. I wish we could get somebody like Anthony Black, but I don't see them giving him up. I would be shocked if they did. A guy like Jalen Suggs, at least he would get a point of attack defender in Jalen Suggs. I mean, hell, even Wendell Carter Jr., Jonathan Isaac, guys like that, where they're going to improve the defense and add a bit more athleticism to the team. So for me, Orlando seems like the prime candidate out of those 3 teams that I would want to trade with, based on the players that they have in their roster.
All right, our views have jumped up since trade talk to 361. If y'all already want to share the link, now's the time to do it, because I'm about to turn the mic over to my main man, Fritz Alessandro, the host of the NBA Economy Show. Share the streams, drop the chat. I want to see the comments. Get ready. Fritz, the floor is yours.
Get ready to flame me. I think I'm going to talk about a few things. I see the fans say certain things, and I don't think they realize what they're asking for. So I keep seeing trade Mikal for Trey Murphy. Pelicans aren't going to do it. And the reason why is that we gave Mikal Bridges a nice extension this summer. It hasn't kicked in yet. So him and Trey Murphy are making about the same amount this year. But next year, Mikal makes $10 million more. So if they traded those 2, they basically traded to add $10 million to their cap space. Also, same idea with Triple J. Triple J, I know a lot of people say, hey, trade KAT for Triple J. Basically, you're going to have to equal the salary. Triple J is at 35. They gave him a big extension this summer. So he goes from 35 to 50. So if the Knicks traded for Triple J, they just added $15 million to their cap. So basically, you just gave away Mitch. You're compromising Deuce. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot. So that's why I wouldn't do that. I think several things could be true. So when I see these 3 teams, I don't necessarily, hey, Knicks are going to send KAT to one of these teams, and these teams are going to give us players back. I think at this point, if you're going to turn KAT into valuable pieces, I think it would be 3, 4, 5 team trade in that we're getting players from multiple teams. I don't think it's. I don't like what's on Charlotte's roster. No, it maybe want to get one player. Like there's probably on Charlotte's roster, maybe Ryan Kalkbrenner is someone I like on their roster.
Right.
Maybe they take him and they send someone to another team. I think ultimately, those teams are talked about with a Milwaukee trade. And I think to get Milwaukee and New York to have a trade, I don't think they don't want KAT. Like, if Milwaukee's starting from scratch,
Fritz, imagine you need and Miles Turner together. Ooh,
yeah, they don't want that. But if you sent KAT to Charlotte, they'd be grateful. They've never had anybody like that in Charlotte. They would be grateful. So, but Milwaukee would like probably the younger pieces. So I think these teams are talked about in a Milwaukee trade. I think they're probably ways to try to get to Giannis.
Don't bring up Zion. Sorry, I was looking at the paper.
All right.
Oh, somebody brought up Zion. Yeah, it's not the time.
Not in New York City. Like, guys, if somebody show you who they are, please believe them. Like, please believe them the first time. Like, do that. You want Zion in New York City. Imagine Zion in the Bronx. The Queens? Man, barbecue chicken alert. The ladies are saying barbecue chicken alert.
He gonna be splashing that cash on them OnlyFans chicks in New York.
Yeah.
My man, they gonna say barbecue chicken alert. I see a sucker. Oh my God, no! Zion need this. He need like Utah or something. He need a small city.
I want to say that Fred Katz on today's podcast, he had on Ian Begley as a guest, and both of them said that they did a little bit of digging into the Steve Popper trade rumor, and they were not able to confirm it themselves. They both also said that doesn't mean that like it's not happening, but they're just hearing different reports. So there is some conflict, I think, there. Not every reporter hears the same thing, obviously. People have different sources, but I did want to bring that up, that the two most trusted Knicks reporters, in my opinion, in Katz, as Rod Heber would say, two of the three wise men, Ian Begley and Fred Katz, say they haven't heard it, then I wouldn't put 100% legitimacy into it. But they are the ones that have been mentioned, and I do think there are some tea leaves to read in those three teams, because all three have a salary that is either descending or expiring, or it can be used and flipped as a younger asset in a Giannis trade in the summer. So I do think there's some smart strategy there on why those three teams are mentioned. The one that, well, you know, I'm going to do this instead. I'm going to read off the three trades. I wrote a Substack article for KOT. I broke down three trades that hopefully fit the salary cap to some degree. I try to allow enough variance to where the Knicks might have to add a player in order for it to work. Totally cool with that. I'm going to go through them. And I want to see everyone's hands. I'll vote on it as well, because I wasn't advocating for these. These are the ones I thought would be the most likely, right? So these aren't like my trades I want to happen. But I'm going to name them, read them off, and then you guys tell me reactions. And if you feel very strongly one way or against, chat as well. Please speak up. Let me hear your feelings on why you hate it or why you love it. I'm going to start with the Charlotte Hornets. The New York Knicks received Colin Sexton, brace yourself, Miles Bridges, Trey Mann, and Tajon Saloon for Karl-Anthony Towns, Dursan Yabusele, Batum Dadier, and Tyler Kolek. How do we feel on that trade by a show of thumbs, up or down? Fritz?
Anything with Miles Bridges is an automatic no for me.
Sideways.
Okay.
I see the vision. But it's a long-term vision. It's not about 2026 in that.
Yeah, I was thinking about pieces that could be moved later on.
Yeah.
The bridge, it's hard. It's either, I don't think LaMelo is available for KAT. I don't think Brandon Miller is available for KAT. So Bridges was the next biggest contract. Sexton does make some sense here in New York, but so as I think it was Ian on the show. No, Fred Katz was like, do you really want to try the Utah backcourt again? Like, what kind of sense does that make? That's very, I mean, it's valid. All right. Now for the Memphis Grizzlies trade. New York Knicks received Jaren Jackson Jr., Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and Jalen Wells, while giving up the usual bums, Dadier, Yabusele, and Kolek, as well as Karl-Anthony Towns.
I don't know how true it is. Like, you know, I be in these Twitter streets, but I heard that Jalen Wells having a little down, like down slope, and they
Yeah,
say because he's distracted by a lady in his life. I don't know
That can happen.
how true that is, but that's what they saying in the streets. So yeah,
I'm gonna do thumbs down because I hate Jaren Jackson Jr.'s contract. It's like one of the worst in the NBA for someone who can't rebound and who is very spotty 3-point shooter, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So we got 4 down. Where are you at, Fritz?
Yeah, I'm definitely down. Jaren Jackson Jr. could play with KAT, but I would not trade him for KAT.
you say he could play with KAT?
I think he could play with KAT. I think he could.
Yeah, that is pause. I was trying to figure
That's
out
why we can't bring Zion here, first of all, Fritz.
But
Fritz.
that's a double entendre. First, it was a pause, and I don't think they will work good together.
No, it's an odd little fit. Like, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. I think a lot of people is like, hey, KAT's offense frustrates people. And I was like, if you trade for Triple J,
he really
it's the worst offense. Way worse offense than KAT.
On top of that, he's going to have 4 rebounds with his 4 points, and y'all really gonna be mad.
That's the
I'm
OG
like, yeah.
Adobe. Woof.
And
It
then
doesn't make sense.
He gonna come through with his fashion line more than his basketball. Y'all gonna be mad all over again.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
it doesn't make sense.
A
Like,
kid who's mentally unstable because of a female. Yeah, no. We're already dealing with mentality over here. Like, I don't. There's a lot of bad females out here in New York. I don't know if some of them can handle that.
yeah.
I love the chat, man. When the chat roast, woo, man.
So
It's a heater.
I mean, I'm not opposed to Memphis, but if I'm trading for Memphis, I want Zach Edey. So
that's happening.
yeah, I'm just saying if they trade us Zach Edey, I'm happy.
We got elite. We have the elite of the elite.
Yeah. Zach Edey, if you gonna try to get rid of Mitch because of his problems, then why would you want Zach Edey? But I see that
he's on a rookie contract, so
I get why Fritz all about them.
Well, if you want to give us hot points for Zach Edey, I'll take
it. It's about the commas. Like,
I get it. If Edey's pair with Mitch, I liked it. If it's just Edey, obviously, yeah, you're terrible defensively at the 5. But I think I would actually start Mitch in that scenario and bring Edey off the bench until he proves he can be a starting caliber center. That's how I would run it. But Edey's potential is sky high, no doubt for Edey. Yeah, I'm with Fritz there. All right, here's a third one. The Knicks get Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., and Goga Batadze while giving up Deuce McBride and Karl Anthony Towns.
It's Deuce though.
Deuce also?
Yeah, Deuce and Karl Anthony Towns. I think you have to replace.
Say it one more time. Deuce and Karl for who again? Say it one more time.
Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter Jr., and Goga Batadze.
Jesus.
This is when you said Deuce. I'm sorry, I overreacted.
Yeah, I did. I did too.
Jalen Suggs could replace Miles McBride.
Yeah, I would have to do it with the amount of defense and then also the possibility of offense that they do give you. Because again, all 3 of those players are continuing to get better and trying to round out their game. And I'm pretty sure Angel Reese would love New York. So I would love that.
That's what's crazy is that some people would like JJ, but I think Wendell Carter does exactly what JJ does, but a little bit better right now.
Yes,
because he rebounds. He does the physical. He plays more physical.
He shoots better too.
And he can guard the perimeter. He's great at closing out on shooters. Yeah. Benji, you say the deals are depressing. I think the first one certainly the Charlotte one. Any deal with Charlotte's depressing. There's not a single player on that roster. Even Miller, I think that's taking a step back in his progress. Last year he was great, but I don't think the Orlando one is depressing. The Orlando one made you a serious contender defensively. You're a top 5 defensive team with that Orlando trade because Goga Batadze has one of the best on-off defensive numbers in the NBA. Jalen Suggs is the best point of attack defender in the NBA. And Wendell Carter Jr. is a great two-way beast who could grow into that second option role. I don't think he's that now. Bridges would need to be that at first, but he could grow into that while giving you some decent spacing from the 5. Listen, man, that your front court is solidified and you can move Brunson off ball and have Jalen Suggs bring the ball up and guard the point of attack and you can switch everything. Listen, man, that's 2 thumbs up for me.
Which another thing in a trade, you also want to look at what it would do to Orlando. I think that Cat and Paolo is hilarious, and that would be perfect for another team out the way in the East for us to So you got to think about, because you don't want to make the other team that you're trading with better, and I think that would actually, like you said, make us a little bit better. Even though the names might not sound like it, but I think that would make us a little bit better, especially in our weaknesses, and then it would weaken Orlando, because that's why Orlando is so good, because they're good defensively and they're lacking a lot of space and things like that. So he might help them offensively with spacing the court. But again, why did we lose some games to Orlando? Because they were a little bit tougher. So if you're going to add Karl Towns, you're going to take that toughness away from them, allowing us to be the team like Orlando, who we do struggle against sometimes.
Towns can be someone they either commit to at a lower number or they move in a subsequent trade when his extension talks come up. But they provide spacing. Deuce Bride, I hate including him, but you have to account for they don't have a point guard anymore after that trade, right? Because Tyus Jones can't start at this point in his career. So Deuce becomes a starter. He is an unbelievable flamethrower as a shooter. You add Towns with the spacing potential. With Bane, who's a good shooter, all of a sudden their spacing issues are modified. I wouldn't say fixed, but are modified, I think, increasingly so. And we get three dogs, three guys that are absolute dogs, that are great, gritty defenders. Listen, man, I'm in 100%. Do it now. You hear that, Gerson Rosas, you bum ass? Made the trade.
I don't know. Wendell Carter, if I could flip him later, if I could flip him in the summer, makes sense. But like I said, Tristan Da Silva is the really.
Yeah, I don't think he's available, but I do think Milwaukee looks at those three players as more attractive than Cat if they're doing a trade.
Yeah,
like 24 years old.
I saw that too. Like it kind of opened me, because you know me in trades, I really don't. That's not my lane. I just ask Fritz. I'd be like, Fritz. Right. But other than that, I think that if we need two-way players, if we can't get the type of players we really want, then get the type of players that other teams want. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like get the pieces we need them to get us what we need.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we can't get these pieces right now. I'm sorry.
I think if they did a trade, it wouldn't be a direct trade. I think at this point, they would trade Paolo before his extension kicks in. Before it kicks in, but not this package though. Not this package. Not this package. Yeah.
I don't think they're that close to the edge. I mean, no one has more potential than Paolo on that roster. And that's a very potential high roster too. But this trade, they don't give up Franz. They don't give up Paolo. They also don't give up by Jet Howard or Anthony Black. I let them keep all those pieces. We get the ones that are more defensive oriented while giving them a new point guard and Deuce McBride, which I did not want to do. I love Deuce.
And would Orlando be able to pay Miles McBride?
By giving up the Jalen Suggs, they would have to restructure the Cat deal to be cheaper. Cat would have to take a pay cut in order for them to be able to pay Miles.
And Orlando doesn't like paying. They don't like paying tax. So
yeah,
I learned that when they got Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah, I know.
I think they would trade Cat and keep Deuce. If I had, yes, they would flip Cat for something.
But that's why I'm very big on just seeing the rest of the season out, because I think the reason why Trae Young went so low is because of the season that he was having. I don't think it's necessarily due with the fact of, and I think that they could have flipped him at a higher value. They would have, but they couldn't because of the season that he was having on top of the injuries, which is why, again, with Cat right now, I wouldn't want us to flip him just yet, because what if, yes, he turns it around in the second half, has a good playoff run. There you go. Now you can really go and get someone much better.
Fair.
So that's why, again, I think we got to get these guys back up to value. And when you're going through a losing streak, you're going to is no value right now in the Knicks. I don't think there's any value in Mikal. I don't think there's any value in Cat. And it's not because it's not possible. It's because of the way they're playing right now. So that's what I would like for us to do, get their value back up so that we can get something better in return or even.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I'm saying I'm probably the only person who's iffy on the trade. Just for the I get it. Suggs would replace Deuce, and then you would bring in two bigs that are defensive. I just feel like with the way Deuce has been playing this season, I would potentially want to keep him and save him for a potentially bigger trade down the line if needed to as a piece, because I feel like Deuce is way outperforming his contract, and that's a value contract at this point in time. So I feel like the only way I flip Deuce is if it's for a major trade, a big trade, to bring in a superstar player to the Knicks. I don't think I want to give up Deuce in a marginal trade like that. But that's my opinion. Like I would be on the fence with that Orlando trade.
I'm with you, Ryan.
Like I said, beginning of the year, it's if I was trading Deuce, it has to be for a starter. Like I'm not. I have to trade Deuce for a starter.
You're getting 2 starters, and Carter and Suggs.
True.
Yeah, but
Bona fide. I mean,
you're trading an all NBA player, and you're trading Deuce.
But I would argue Karl-Anthony Towns is not an all NBA player this year, but I understand what the context that you're adding. Yeah, I get that. I think, listen, man, my nuclear option is moving Brunson to the 2 and bring someone in who can run the point. That way, we actually have a great point of attack defender at all times. I think Suggs at 6'5" can be that guy. Now, he's not a great pull-up shooter like Deuce, but he's an elite catch-and-shoot shooter. So you add that to the rotation, which was essentially what he would have when he's playing off ball. I like the options, but again, these are all hypotheticals. I'm not going to defend any of this to the death. That's just one that I saw the value both short-term and then in long-term being flipped for Giannis. Well, it seems that we mostly agree. We all of us like the Orlando one the most of the 3, but I think hopefully we all want to be hopeful that there's a better trade out there if we do end up trading KAT. But I am definitely on the 100%.
Do not give me Jeremy Grant. Do not give me Jeremy Grant.
Hey, that's the worst. Absolutely. I like Drew Holiday, but not Grant.
Oh man,
Grant.
I got the most respect for Drew Holiday. Like,
well, that'd be perfect. Him and Jalen Brunson would be perfection.
Yeah, Drew Holiday. I would take Drew Holiday.
Like 5 years younger.
Team. Like he still does what he does, though. Like, and it also depends. It also depends on what we got to give up. I will just Jeremy Grant can stay wherever he is. Now, if we could try possibly get just Drew, I'm cool with that. Like somebody like Drew, yeah, definitely. He's a winning player. He does winning things. Everything doesn't show up in the stat sheet. So,
but I think he really wants to be in Portland.
Really? Then why?
I think him and Dame want to play together.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, but at first, Drew didn't want to go there? Like, weren't there reports saying that Drew
a couple years ago?
Like, yeah, wasn't
a couple years ago?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I think he wants to go. He had the option of being flipped. Yeah, he wants to be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it depends on where he would go.
I have one real quick crazy name to throw out. Would you guys be interested in Alex Sarr?
Yes. Hell yes.
I'm not sure.
I don't think Wizards are
but he's available.
I don't think.
Yes,
it's something that I saw a crazy scenario, and I was like,
I want to know that scenario where Wizards would give up Alex Sarr, though.
Me either. That's why I was like, I didn't really want to say that first because it's not realistic, but.
You might be able to hit Atlanta. They made a trade and it ain't working too well right now. You never know. They might. Do we need anybody over there?
Jalen Johnson for KAT right now.
The one person Atlanta is trying to give up that's Okongwu is they're trying to move.
Yeah, I like that too.
I do like Okongwu.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ed. That's where, bitch, we might have to talk a little bit.
That's who? What?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I think it would be KAT because they showed interest in AD. Atlanta did, so I think they would want KAT.
I think my most realistic is Jose though. We need to figure out how to get Jose over here.
I agree.
Jose
yeah, bring him home. Bring him home.
Let me ask that: trade Kolek for Jose Alvarado? Thumbs up or thumbs down?
If it's Kolek for Alvarado straight up,
yeah,
easy.
It's tough. It's tough.
I'll even throw in Datic for you, boy. If you want.
Yeah, right. Let's throw in Datic for the salary to match for sure. Yeah, but I would too. I would
that doesn't work either. But if there's a way. But there's a straight up it doesn't work.
Figure it out, and email Leon after this.
Listen, man, we got 400 people in the chat. I see y'all sharing it. I see y'all spreading the word. We got just about almost $20 or more for super chats. Like, y'all really show love, and it means a lot to me. It means a lot to the whole KOT family, man. Listen, Jay Ellis took the day off, and he's still in the chat. shouting out, roasting me, dropping commentary, tell me to make sure not to say I'm going to punch somebody in the face. You're right, bro. My bad, man. My bad. I love you, Jay. Can't wait to pod with you after hopefully we actually beat the Nets, because I know you worked with a Brooklyn Net fan, and we can't have you lose it against them and going to work next day. But I just want to give you some love and give you your flowers. We wish you to be here, and I hope you're doing all right.
Lee, I said if we lose to the Nets, I was gonna be here in the dark. If we ever had to be here in the dark,
No, we gotta wear all black. We all gotta wear all black and
burn the place down, man.
Yo,
I
I
already
already
lose
said
tomorrow,
like
give me Michael Porter Jr. for Mikel. That's what we.
Oh
lose
no!
tomorrow.
Oh no!
No, that's how.
That
That's what I
baby.
would be after a loss to the Nets tomorrow.
I already said if the Knicks lose to
the.
I already said if the Knicks lose to the Nets tomorrow, I'm crashing out. I don't give a damn. I'm crashing the F out.
He gonna find himself on the MSG registry.
I just see Mike Brown being fired if we lose to the Nets. I think that's very possible.
Yeah, unacceptable. Like after he left at halftime, like you already know he's concerned.
Yeah, James Nolan.
That's a way to send a message. That's why I say that you gotta sometimes do certain things. That's a way that he's for your leader to walk out in the middle of a game and then have a meeting after the walkout. If they do not respond, that's why I said I got it. I don't have no hope right now until we see how. That's Bell from Beauty and the Beast. But for him to walk out and then have a meeting, and if you guys don't respond to that, we got to hit the panic button and we got to be in all dark and is it darkness in New York City, because I don't think there's any other way that somebody could tell you I am tired, I'm sick of this. That's the best way. You don't always have to scream and shout or fight. You don't always got to like punch someone at practice. You don't always have to have your coach come out and say and throw his team under the bus. But you do show a way by saying, I can't even sit here and watch this no more. And I think that was a very good thing for Jalen Brunson to do, because he's not a guy who's going to be very vocal. We already know that. He's gonna kill you on the court. He's not going to kill you. He's very nice spoken. He's very well trained, PR trained and all that, which is why I respect him. But I have never seen Jalen Brunson in the middle of a game even pull his team together. Never seen Jalen walk out on his team, and I've never heard of Jalen putting up a player meeting. So I think that was very nice of Jalen his way of getting his team together. And if we do not respond after things like that, I don't think we're gonna then respond to if Mikel does it or if KAT does it or if even Mike Brown does it.
Are there any topics, beloveds, that we haven't covered that you think we should before we say adieu?
We signed Dylan Jones today.
Right? Why did we not call him Dick Paint?
Am I supposed to say yay?
No, because like a lot of us thought, perhaps that was Dink's spot, but that just shows that the Knicks are about to do some dealing.
What, man? I didn't give y'all any Payton news for a reason, because I didn't have it, man. So
yeah, so yeah, it sounds like the Knicks are they're anticipating a deal if they did that.
I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be more of in peripheral, more even just a Yabu Pacome. I think it's going to be a rotation piece. It's still out. You kind of have to. I don't think that was a plan. And Ian said that on the Fred Katz podcast too. He actually said that he heard specifically. He said Jose Alvarado and Keon Ellis were the two names that Ian said he had heard were being talked about and negotiating for. Which Keon Ellis surprises me as someone they would actually target, because that's like Deuce Jr. to me. But now he said it's going to be.
Didn't he have issues with Mike Brown in Sacramento? Wasn't that part of the reason Mike Brown lost his job? Because he didn't play.
Defense was horrible, and he still didn't play Keon Ellis. Also, like Keon Ellis, if you're going to take on Keon Ellis, you have to pay him. So that probably lets you know that the Knicks either they're going to rent Keon Ellis, or they are definitely going to spend next year. So that's what it kind of tells me.
We'll see what happens, man. Well, if anything happens, and whenever it does, we'll be here reacting to it. If I have to, I'll jump on the pod and host, or Ryan will jump on the pod and host, or Ebony will jump on the pod. Someone will be here talking about what's going on when there's an immediate trade. We'll try to rally the troops and put that Batman signal up for us to assemble. But listen, man, I hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. We started over 400 people. We got super chats rolling in. We got people. Chat has been going absolutely bonkers the entire hour, almost 2 hours now. We've been over here yapping, and y'all been going mad wild in the chat. Loving the activity in the chat. I was asking for it. Y'all gave it to me. I really appreciate it. We got a lot of names too. Some people I haven't seen in here. Some I've only seen a few times. And then we got some regulars. Shout out Jabroni. Shout out Roman the Chosen, ECME, G5 from the Bronx, In-Game, Dortosaurus Rex, Northside Nabil, Janky Jimenez, E. Gibson, Sherwin. Who else we got? Of course, my main man, J. Ellis, Keith Turner. We got Buzzer Beater in the house. We got Jabroni, Ron Man, the Chosen. I think I said him already. Keith Turner, King Sway. Bruh, y'all in here for real. I didn't tell the entire Knit Nation is really angry and really pissed off. So I was like, look, man, let's have a family meeting. Let's sit the whole family together, or at least anyone you can, and chop this up and talk it out. And I think we've had some really good conversations. I don't know about y'all. I actually feel better, man. Like, I'm ready to go on the patio, tip my feet up, smoke a spliff, hang out.
I feel like they're going to prove me wrong. I feel like they're going to prove me wrong tomorrow.
I hope so. I want them to prove me wrong, B. I need them to.
Yeah, same here.
Because
that's still my optimism, but we'll see.
This is the last time that I'm going to have any type of little emotional bounce back. Because if they lose to the Nets or they go on a nasty streak after that, listen, head's got to roll. And I'll
it's already been a nasty streak, man. What do you mean?
I'm talking about another one, B. Like, if this gets worse, to me, nothing's off the table. Leon Rose.
This is what's holding me together. I'm still hoping it comes together. Like, I'm still hoping I get proven wrong. I'm off the cat, but I'm never going to stop supporting him because he's on my team. So I need him to prove me wrong. I need him to show me I'm wrong about him. If not, he got to go.
Yeah.
He has to go. I'm sorry. We just need unselfish people. I said that. This is the part when you ask for a deep team, but you have to sacrifice when you have a deep team.
Yeah.
Your numbers shouldn't look like your numbers normally look because every game is different.
Right.
You get what I mean? So that's truly buying into the system. You talk about, again, my favorite player is Steph, one of the most unselfish superstars there is. He literally uses his presence as an offense. I need our players to do that. I need them to understand the power that they have and help others with it. Not the grenades. We don't need grenade assists. We need intentionally. I'm intentionally trying to get you a bucket. Not, oh, help me, please. Like I'm over those assists. I really am. And it's a funny thing. I just want to say real quick. I remember us asking Tibbs to switch everything. We wanted him to switch more, right? And now we're seeing it's like, oh, maybe he did have a method to his madness because we can't seem to switch everything. And I one of the things I forgot to say that I want us to do more is the hedge and recover. I think we're best defensively when we show and then recover. Instead of the switching or trying to hide, it's just I'm here, disrupt them a little bit, and we got to put bodies on people. Pause. You can't allow people to just walk into pull-up shots every time and fast break. They do it all the time. So yeah, we again just looking in the mirror. We got to look in the mirror.
Look, man, this is why the show is so great. You had different people that come from different backgrounds. We have two, in my opinion, we have two of the strongest X's and O's people in the entire knit space with Ebony and B, the motivator that bring their knowledge as coaches, as players. Like it's an abundance of blessings here on the show. You did extremely rational, never a bad take. And my main man, Ryan G, you had the economic side of things, the financial landscape, thinking ahead, thinking big picture and outside the box. So my main man, Fritz handles, and then you got my crazy ass sometimes. You know, I gotta stir the pot sometimes and get a little nasty. You know what I mean? I have my lovers, I have my haters on the show. So listen, I love you both, and I wish both of y'all well. The lovers a little bit more. Listen,
yeah.
Like
I just want to say shout out to my mama because she told me at a young age, just be you. People gonna hate regardless. Let them hate you while you being you.
No doubt, 100%. I don't know if that's word for me, but I've definitely stayed true to it. No doubt.
It don't matter. That's just stay true to you.
Well, if there's nothing else, I'm gonna pass the mic for everyone to let people know where to find you. And I will start here with Fritz Alexander. Tell them where to find you, brother.
Actually, today is not going to be about me. 80% of you guys said you haven't seen B's interview with Dexter Henry. So instead of following me, please watch that interview. And I will pass it to the next person.
Ryan G, where can they find you, brother?
Yeah, definitely co-sign Fritz. Watch an interview between B with B on NY Got Game. You can find me on Twitter at Ryan G KOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is chillin'.
Sir G is chillin'.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN.
I did my best J. Ellis impression. Hey, man, we got someone coming back from that show. We appreciate you, man. Hope to see you back, Roman the Chosen. Also, love that you're a dad. I hope you have fun with your daughter watching Beauty and the Beast. Be the motivator. Where can they find you, sis?
Yes, shout out to the chat. They always tell me it doesn't matter, slide through, because sometimes I'm like, I got my daughter, she's acting crazy, but they're like, who cares? So I appreciate you guys for
100%.
understanding. Because she watches me every night and I'm always angry and upset. She doesn't understand, but we still like, what? Let's go. Knicks. That's right. So Kathleen Sporty Spice, SPORTYSPICCE. And if you scroll down just a little bit, I actually reposted now. You'll see the recent interview with Dexter.
Mommy, are you done?
You posted it on the in the chat?
Yeah, I was gonna say Fritz check, he'll throw it out there for me if he could.
Okay. Once he does, I'll bury it up into the Jumbotron. Yeah, we appreciate that. And then of course, man, one of my best friends, my sister, Ebony. Where can people find you?
You can find me on Mad Nick Fan on most social media, TikTok, Twitch. I'm pretty active on Twitch. Sorry, not Twitch. What's that place called? Twitter. There you go. I'm pretty active on Twitter more than anything else. You can find me at the pregame on Twitter called Your Take Knicks. We there before every game. You know, come through, give your take, and after every post game, you can find me here. Hopefully more regularly. So
no doubt. And then of course, don't worry about me. Instead, follow Knick of Time Show on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok, just about anywhere that the Knicks are being talked about. Jay Ellis has a place for you to call home to join the channel. Please like and subscribe. I saw Jay Ellis said that we already passed 9,000. We're around like 9,018 or 9,019. Listen, the momentum's growing. We're trying to hit 10K. I think we can actually hit 10K sooner rather than later. Listen, man, let's do it by March, man. Tell a friend to come into the Knicks family. You have a place here, right? No voice is ostracized. We bring smart, rational takes. Sometimes I go a little bit off the handle. I do a crash out. But you know what? Sometimes I call us for a crash out. This is wild out here in these streets. Listen, like us, subscribe to the NBA Economy Show. Make sure you check Your Take Knicks on Twitter. Make sure you check out Be the Motivator on Twitter. My main man, Ryan G. Man, listen. There is no better co-host in YouTube than my main man, Ryan G. Watch the tape if you don't believe me, all right? My name's Lee Escobedo. This has been a Knick of Time Show. Thank you all for joining us. One love. Let's go Knicks, man. Get together, man.
Yes, sir. Beat the Nets.
Gotta beat the Nets, man. Come on. Win it for us.
No more Kirby.
Oh, wait.
Can I watch
Let's go! JT Riddick with the 499. Yeah. Great show. Salute. Always all 82. Listen, man. Again, we wouldn't be here without the fans. Shout out everybody, man. I appreciate all the love that's coming through here in the chats. I mean, look, man, it's incredible. Felicia Lee, much love. It warms my heart. Y'all have cheered me up. I did everything I could today to try to cheer myself up. You know what? I just had to come with the family and have a conversation. Sometimes that's
shout out the ladies. Shout out the ladies. Thank you, ladies.
No doubt. Got the ladies in the chat and the ladies in the panel. Listen, much love, all right? Y'all take care of yourself. Be safe. Watch out for these popo. Warn somebody if you see them. Much love, all right? I'll see y'all soon.
Love you guys. Peace out.
Peace.
Say bye.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, New York, big city of dreams.